Want your chickens to stay clean and happy? We're showing you how to create a perfect dust bath. So before we get to the dust bath, we've had a few comments about people interested in beekeeping.
Yeah.
And I know you guys are master beekeepers yourselves, so
Not a master.
you're on your way.
Working on
So
it.
I'm curious, how are the bees?
Well, it's interesting you should ask because I don't actually have bees this year. I lost my bees over the winter due to some of the crazy weather we were having in the late winter, early spring. And I decided that this year I'm going to work on some other projects and build a new bee yard that's going to be able to protect them better from the wind and from the winter environment. So I'm going to build a new bee yard, and next spring, new bee colonies.
Awesome. I did winter over 2 colonies, and for the first time in a number of years, I didn't lose any colonies over the winter. They both
Right.
made it through. They're doing great. I got a colony of Carnolians and a colony of Italians. A couple weeks ago, well, probably 3 weeks ago now, I went down and put some honey supers on. So I need to go out there and check and see. Hopefully they're full of honey, and it'll be time to extract.
I'd love to see that.
Yeah.
You going to record that?
Yep, we'll
All right.
take a camera down.
Great. Well, thank you, and thank you for your comments. Keep them coming. So now, dust baths. Why do chickens need dust baths? Or do they need dust baths?
Well, it's very good for them to have dust baths. It's something they naturally enjoy doing. The main thing is it helps keep them clean. So, to keep a chicken's feathers clean, they're going to secrete oils. They have an oil gland. But that oil kind of gets messy over time. And by taking a dust bath, the dust in the dust bath helps slough off that old oil so that they can preen their feathers and clean their feathers a little bit more.
Reapply it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, do they need it just like us, right? You get kind of gross after a while if you don't take a bath.
Yeah.
But chickens, they don't bathe in water. Feathers in water don't do well, so they bathe in dust.
Unless you're a duck.
Right? Well, I guess that's true. Right, they have some specialties. But you'll find that something that's a natural behavior that they're going to want to look for. And so by providing an area, you can set it up so that it's optimized for them to be able to get the most benefit out of it.
Yeah, taking a dust bath for a chicken is actually like a stress reliever. They enjoy doing it, so it makes them happy when they do it. And it has the added benefit of not only keeping their feathers intact, but it reduces the chance of having an infestation of mites or lice because that dust bath is going to slough off those mites and lice as well and those eggs. So they're not going to get infested with those predators
And I forgot to mention,
or parasites, I guess.
we're actually doing this based off a comment. Someone asked if we would talk about dust baths, so there you go.
Yep.
Keep the comments coming. All right. So if I wanted to make a dust bath, what materials would make or be suitable for a dust bath?
Really expensive flowers. Go plant them in your flower beds, and that's where the chicken will choose to make their dust bath. I speak from experience. But if you can avoid that, right, and make them their own separate area, sand, right? You don't want anything that's wet or clumpy. You want sand, fine grained materials. I love to put in some wood ash in mine as well. I know a lot of people will mix in DE, diatomaceous earth. Again, use the food grade. Herbs are another thing that I like to add, dried or fresh. Something that's fine that they can roll around in and fluff up and make a mess in.
Now, you mentioned sand. One of the things you want to be careful of is you don't want coarse sand because that can be irritating to the skin. So a medium to fine sand is going to do better for them, mixing in the wood ash. In my soil here, the top layer tends to dry out and it just makes a great natural dust bath. So I don't really have to amend it a lot to make a good dust bath. And even when I do create an area for them to bathe in, they tend to find some other corner of the yard or the field and go dust bathe in that area.
I have a tractor tire in my run that is set up as a dedicated dust bath, and they will use it, but most often they're somewhere out in the yard, doing there. And usually, a lot of times it'll be in the driveway because that's in the winter. That's where I throw my wood ash because it kind of helps pack the driveway down. And they'll go out there because they love it.
Okay.
So
So that kind of leads us in. So you said you might use a tire. How would you set up a dust bath?
Well, like Steve said, you can use something like a tire or any container, really, a
Tub or
kiddie
tote,
pool,
yeah.
a tub. If you have a large plastic tote, those can work. And really, you want to give your chickens about 6 to 8 inches deep of dust bathing material in there. And you also want to make it large enough that multiple hens can go in there and dust bathe at one time, because it really is a social behavior and they enjoy doing the dust bathing together. I know when my boss hen goes out and starts dust bathing in one corner of the run opposite from where I set up her dust bath area, lots of the other hens will just find their way over there and start dust bathing at the same time.
they'll often do it together. So
Yep.
Again, a tote or whatever, and like I say, most of them will just do it through the yards. Now, I have a tractor tire out in the run. Now, during the winter, right where we live, that's frozen solid for months. That's no good to them. And that during the winter, they're spending more time inside. They're not getting out. That's really when I worry about mice and lights and that kind of stuff becoming an issue. So in the winter, I'll actually get just like a tub, and I'll take it into the and put it inside the coop. Right, and they can kind of use that, and I'll take it in at night and do that for 3 or 4 days, just to kind of give them an opportunity to take advantage of that. So it doesn't even have to be a permanent thing. It's easier and better if you do, but something like that can work as well. Just get like a big Rubbermaid tote.
Now, one of the things you want to do with your dust bathing area is find the right location for it, right? You want a sunny area. Typically, they like to bathe in the sun, but at the same time, you want some shelter too, so it's not excessively windy, or when it rains, all the rain off the roof is going to dump on them in their bathing area. And you want to check that dust bathing area. If it's wet or clumpy or something like that, you might want to scoop that stuff out and replace it with some fresh, dry material once in a while.
So I guess along those lines, how do you maintain it? How often do you have to maintain it? What do you have to do?
Just keep an eye on it. If it starts to, you've got a pool or something that's filled and it starts to get low, just add some more material to it, right? Add in a little more sand or whatever. Add in a little more DE or wood ash or whatever that you like to put in there. Some herbs. Just keep an eye on it and keep it topped off. Because when they get in there, especially my turkeys, right? They'll throw dirt 8
All
feet
over
out,
the place,
just
yeah.
everywhere. But they love it,
Yeah.
right? But I just top it off.
Yeah, one of the other things you want to do with your dust bath area is kind of go in and inspect it once in a while and make sure you don't have pests living in it, right? I went out there one time, and the area where they dust bathe, there was a colony of ants going through there, and that's going to discourage them from dust bathing, but encourage them to come over and eat some ants.
There you go.
But you don't want any kind of pests in there.
Yeah, and just depending upon, for me, it's not a problem. I live in sand; it drains quickly. If you live in a place where it's clay and you've kind of tried to build up an area, part of maintenance may be if I see rain or something, maybe I go cover that area.
Yeah.
If rain's going to soak that and it's going to be a clumpy mess for the next week till it dries out, maybe do something to help keep it from happening. We don't have to worry about that where we live, but I know a lot of people aren't as lucky. They live in clay or those types of things where maybe that's a concern. So
All right. So I do have one final question here.
All right.
How do you encourage your chickens to use it, or do you find that's a problem getting them to use it?
I mean, you can throw treats or something out there. Again, my chickens dust bathe like crazy anyway. If I'm trying to encourage them to only use my dust bath instead of the flower gardens, right? That was the early battle because they like that loose, material. They can kind of fluff up the hard packed ground, not as easy. Well, where's the soil all worked and loose and nice in the flower beds.
In flower beds, in gardens.
So that's where the
Yeah.
chickens would dust bathe, is right in the middle of the flower bed or the gardens. So, to try and get them out of there and into other areas, again, provide them an appropriate space that's in the sun and, gives them some cover, that kind of stuff. But like I say, if you throw some treats or something in there, for me, the wood, I'll notice like I throw wood ash in there, and there'll be little bits of charcoal, whatever. They'll be in there eating. They love that stuff. So that works for me. I don't throw mealworms or anything in there. Between the herbs and the wood ash, they seem to like what they do. But I know some people can toss in mealworms or that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's a great way to get them to use it. And if you do have a problem with them dust bathing in your flower beds or some area that you don't want them to go, making a really attractive dust bathing area, one that's better for them and they're more apt to use than that flower bed, include things like sprinkling in the treats, and put it in an area where it's fairly high traffic, so they're going to be around it a lot and they can access it easily.
Kind of like a Turkish bathhouse or something, make it really nice.
You never cease to amaze me with some of the comments you come up with.
Oh, so do you find that they fight over it?
No.
No.
They might during normal squabbling times, just like they would fight over the feeder or the water. If one of the chickens is getting a little bit too high and mighty and the boss hen doesn't like it, but not any more than any other place in the run. As long as it's big enough, right? If it's only big enough for 2 hens and you got a flock of 10, then there might be some squabbling over dust bathing area.
All right. There you have it. So use these tips to give your flock a nice spa day at the dust bath. I kind of like it. So if you guys have any comments on that, any questions, let us know. Thanks for watching. Please like the video. And as always,
Keep on hobby farming.
see you next time.